Hello, thanks very much for inviting me to speak today. I'm Sofie Blakstad, CEO of hiveonline. We're overcoming the digital divide to bring decentralized finance to African smallholder farmers. Today, I'll share some of the learnings from our experience over the last few years working in some of the world's least developed countries. Before founding hiveonline, I had a career building technology and businesses for global banks in 60 countries. At Citigroup, I was responsible for 13 African countries, first for infrastructure and then business transformation. Monkeys were stealing the cables, public infrastructure was unreliable. So I had to develop alternative infrastructure strategies, like putting satellite receivers on the roofs of branches. I saw firsthand how difficult it is for banks to reach businesses in rural Africa and how financial products don't meet their needs. I saw how today's economy is stacked against entrepreneurs, and especially women. Agricultural cash flow is bumpy. If they grow multiple crops, smallholders may have several harvests a year, but money isn't available when they need it to buy seeds or treat their crops in the early growing season. Mozambique used to export 25% of the world's cashews, and now it's less than 3% because trees are aging and unproductive. But it's expensive to plant new trees. African farmers have huge problems accessing finance, especially if they're women, because lenders don't want collateral. Lenders want collateral, which farmers don't have. They also suffer from inefficient markets. Farmers can't show buyers what crops they're growing, and buyers can't keep their production plans operating efficiently because they can't predict where crops will be available. Middlemen buy from farmers at low prices, taking most of the upside. The statistics are astonishing. By giving farmers access to better inputs, agricultural productivity can increase 3 times, giving them much better revenue. 70% of African arable land is unused, so there's also the opportunity for more food production as farmers become more secure. We're all going to need Africa to produce more food in the future, and at the moment, it's responsible for only 3% of the world's food exports. Africa today is a net importer of food, which is crazy when you consider how much land there is. So agriculture is a sector with a massive upside potential. And by keeping wealth in the communities, more jobs are created. So the youth have options that look more attractive than going to the big city or picking up a rifle. Social groups like cooperatives help small producers collaborate and act as a commercial hub. But all their transactions are in cash, so they don't build credit history. Cooperatives can also help farmers aggregate their crops and reach better market prices. But there's a lot of corruption and limited transparency, so many farmers don't trust cooperatives. And communities are often isolated from access to centralized services by poor connectivity, low device ownership, and limited access to power. Power and connectivity are further compromised in areas where there's conflict or corrupt governments fail to maintain infrastructure. Digital payments with telco-issued mobile money can help take away some of the risk of cash and provide records that can start to build a digital history. M-Pesa has had a huge impact on the number of people who can access financial services, especially in Kenya. But telco-issued money is expensive to use, so most farmers still use cash. And that's where technology can help. Mobile money was a great start, but it needs infrastructure. Blockchain has been called the Internet of Trust. It doesn't need central infrastructure, and it's designed so that people who don't know each other can transact value without having to trust each other or any central authority. Blockchain-based stablecoins have the advantage of behaving just like normal money in most respects, but can provide cheap digital currency for people without access to a bank account. Some countries have already issued their own blockchain-based central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, and several African countries are researching their own. CBDCs are a type of digital currency, usually on blockchain, which is backed directly by the central bank. It's a liability on the central bank's ledger. China's the first major economy to run a large-scale pilot, with over 140 million people involved so far. Interestingly, though, some of the first movers in CBDCs are developing countries, which recognize the importance of universally accessible digital payments, although some early projects did fail. So our model uses a stablecoin and prepares for the availability of CBDCs. We've leveraged the technology, but delivered it in a way that's simple to use for communities with low connectivity and device ownership. hiveonline's system builds a credit history as farmers agree, deliver, and transact. It aggregates their crop forecasts so buyers can pre-book their produce. Lenders realize big savings on KYC and credit assessments thanks to the data we collect. We support blockchain-based e-vouchers so farmers can own assets without needing to use cash. By reducing the need for money, we can reduce farmers' exposure to the cost of credit. We call it digitizing the barter economy. Because it's built on blockchain, communities can build wealth without being tied to a bank or financial institutions, although we also help them to get access to them. We built for low literacy, very low data use, and it works largely offline, so communities without a single signal can still use it. It operates on a minimum of one device per community, so nobody's left behind. Market efficiencies increase farmer income and help buyers to be more prosperous. It's super important when working with customers who've never used technology to talk to them and learn what is meaningful from them. We work with partners in the NGO, government, and private sectors to help reach the ecosystem. And these partners are really important to our customers too. We combine our technology with the work they've already doing to improve farming ecosystems in both rural and urban settings. Each country is different with different challenges, and we're learning with every new release. We're currently in 6 different countries. Our research is also an important component. And I think it's fair to say, without the research, we would not be able to understand our customer needs and the opportunities nearly so well. A byproduct of this is that there are a lot of organizations who are interested in what we're learning. So we support them with insights into how blockchain can help humanitarian causes and improve sustainability. It's a rapidly emerging field, and the technology is evolving really fast. So practitioners like us are really well positioned to feed back to these groups when they're designing policy and regulation. So to summarize, there are some key takeaways which I hope you'll find useful. First, blockchain is an enabling technology to build a distributed economy. It's not something that's happening in the future, it's already here and being used by commercial banks, central banks, and fintechs like us to create financial infrastructure where none exists. That comes with its risks as well as with its opportunities, and the regulatory landscape is evolving rapidly along with the technology. We're watching closely to see what happens in the central bank digital currency space, but also finding a lot of traction for alternative assets like our vouchers. Secondly, smallholders, and especially women, if they're given the opportunity, will build sustainable communities and create intergenerational opportunities. We've seen this wherever we go. In Niger, the women we were working with were responsible for up to 15 people. So these women, farmers in general, but women farmers in particular, are the communities. And they stay put, and when they get money, they will buy solar infrastructure and other things that the community needs to survive and grow. And rural Africa, thirdly, is full of largely untapped opportunities. New technology opens out these markets by creating market efficiencies, and the upside potential is huge, not just for the farmers, but for all of us. The world needs Africa to keep producing food more efficiently, and the space and opportunity is there. All that's needed is more opportunities for the producers. I'm Sofie Blakstad. Thanks very much for listening, and please feel free to reach out if you're interested in learning more. Thank you very much.